This isn't just a story, it's a journey of failure, courage, and success. And as you listen, you'll not only learn English, but also grow as a person. Abraham Lincoln was not just a president, he was a fighter, a dreamer, and a man who never gave up. His life was not easy, but he kept moving forward. This is his story. Abraham Lincoln was born on February 12, 1809, in a small log cabin in Hodgenville, Kentucky, USA. His family was very poor. They did not have much food and they lived in a house made of wood with no electricity or running water. His family worked on a farm. They grew corn and raised animals. But the life they had was difficult. At the age of 7, Lincoln's family moved to Indiana. They had to leave behind their farm and start again. Lincoln's mother died when he was just 9 years old. This was a big loss for him. His father remarried soon after, and his new mother, Sarah, was kind to him. But life was hard and Lincoln did not have many friends. Even though life was tough, Lincoln loved to read. He wanted to learn, but there were no schools nearby. So he taught himself to read and write. He would walk for miles to borrow books from neighbors. At night, he would study by the light of a fire, reading books like the Bible, Aesop's fables, and books about law. This was how he learned many things in his youth. Lincoln grew up to be a strong and tall man, but his life was full of struggles. At the age of 23, he decided to start a business. He used his savings to open a store. But the business failed and Lincoln lost all his money. This was the first of many failures in his life. At age 25, he ran for the Illinois state legislature. He worked hard, gave many speeches, and tried to connect with people. But he lost the election. This was not easy for him, but he did not give up. At age 26, Lincoln fell in love with a woman named Anne Rutledge. They had a strong connection, but she suddenly became sick and passed away. This was a heartbreaking loss for Lincoln. He was so sad that he fell into a deep depression, but even though it hurt, he knew he had to keep going. At age 27, Lincoln ran for office again, and once more, he lost. He lost 8 elections before he became president. Many people would have given up after so many failures, but Lincoln believed in something bigger than himself. He believed in freedom, in equality, and in helping others. So he kept trying. He worked harder. He never stopped moving forward. In his late 30s, Lincoln finally began to see success. He became a lawyer and started his own law practice in Springfield, Illinois. He worked hard to understand the law, help people, and win cases. People began to recognize his wisdom and fairness. He became well known as a smart and honest lawyer. But Lincoln knew he wanted to do more. He wanted to make a difference. So he ran for U.S. Congress at age 37. He won, and for 2 years he served as a congressman. But after his time in Congress, Lincoln went back to his law practice. In 1858, Lincoln decided to run for a seat in the U.S. Senate. He ran against a man named Stephen A. Douglas. Lincoln and Douglas debated each other across Illinois in front of large crowds. Lincoln spoke clearly about his beliefs. He believed in ending slavery, a practice that was hurting people in the country. Though Lincoln did not win the Senate seat, his speeches made him famous. He became known as one of the best speakers in America. His fight for equality made him popular among many people. In 1860, Lincoln ran for president. At first, many people did not think he would win. He was from a small state, and he was a lawyer, not a military leader. But his honesty, his hard work, and his passion for equality earned him the support of many people. On November 6, 1860, Lincoln was elected the 16th President of the United States. He went from a poor farm boy to the leader of a nation. This was a big moment in history, but it was just the beginning of Lincoln's greatest challenges. When Lincoln became president, the country was in trouble. Many states in the South wanted to leave the United States. They wanted to form their own country where they could continue slavery. Lincoln believed that the Union, the United States, must stay together. He worked hard to keep the country united. In 1861, the Civil War started. It was a war between the North, the Union, and the South, the Confederacy. The war lasted for 4 years and caused many deaths and suffering. But Lincoln never lost hope. He kept fighting for what he believed was right, freedom for everyone. In 1863, Lincoln made a powerful decision. He signed the Emancipation Proclamation, which freed slaves in the South. This was a brave move. It was not easy, and many people were angry. But Lincoln believed that slavery was wrong, and he knew that freedom was the right thing for all people. The war continued for 2 more years, but Lincoln's leadership helped the North win. In 1865, the Union was restored, and slavery was ended. Lincoln's dream of a free country was becoming true. Sadly, just as the war ended, Lincoln was assassinated. On April 14, 1865, he was shot while watching a play in Washington, D.C. He died the next day, on April 15, 1865. Lincoln's death was a huge loss to the country, but his legacy lived on. He had saved the Union, freed the slaves, and shown the world that one person could make a huge difference. Abraham Lincoln's life teaches us a lot. It shows us that no matter how many times you fail, you should never give up. It shows us that hard work and kindness can help you overcome any challenge. Lincoln came from nothing, but he became one of the greatest leaders in history. He believed in equality and freedom, and he fought for those values. So, if you ever feel like giving up, remember Lincoln. He failed many times but still reached his dreams. Like him, you can keep going. No matter the challenges, you too can achieve greatness. Thanks for watching. If this story inspired you and helped your English, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more true stories that teach and motivate. See you in the next one.